We went to this bar in the theater district in the East 40s. That's where the bar was. I don't remember the name, but the guy who owned the bar was a friend of my friend Danny, and did a lot of business there. So we had a great table right in the place. And so while we're getting boozed up pretty good, and the owner of the bar, whose name I can't remember, was sitting with us, and he gets called to the bar, the real bar, and the others, and we were sitting at a table, and he comes back after about 5 or 10 minutes, and then he says, "Well, what's up?" He says, "Oh," he says, "Ava Gardner was here before you got here tonight," and he says she left her earrings at the bar, and she called to find out if if anyone found her earrings. So I said, "Did they find them?" And he said, "Yeah, they're there. They're there." He said, "We're going to get someone to go up to her hotel and bring the earrings up." I said, "I'll go. I'll go. I'll do it." Yeah, nobody had a chance to even say. I said, I'll go." So, uh, so, uh, said, "Oh, okay." So I went up to the bar. They were staying she was staying at the Regency, which is where I used to stay occasionally. And it's a beautiful hotel on Park Avenue. So they gave me the earrings. I went up to around Park Avenue and 47th Street or so, somewhere in that, you know the neighborhood. So I go up there and I always thought she was the most gorgeous thing in the world. I was so excited about. I never met her or anything. So I got up to the Regency and I went to the desk, and the guy says, "Yeah," I told him who I was. He says, "Well," he said, the desk guy says, "She's expecting you. Just leave the earrings with me." I says, "No." I says, "I've been instructed to deliver them personally." Yeah, that's what I told the guy. He calls up to her room, and she says, "Come up." He tells me where that. She says, "Come right up," and she's expecting you. I was so fucking nervous. I couldn't believe it. I went up to her room. I tell you, she comes to the door. She's so goddamn gorgeous, and she was wearing like a negligee. She was wearing, because it was late by this time. She was wearing her this very sexy outfit. I mean, and I was absolutely out of my mind. She was beautiful, beautiful woman. I think there was a guy behind her in the room, but I didn't see him. But she came to the door, and I didn't see him, but I'm pretty sure there was somebody in there with her. So I think. But anyway, she came out. We talked briefly, and then she said, she says, "Well," she says, "Do you have them?" I says, "Yeah." And I gave her one earring. So she takes it, she looks at it, she says, "Well," she says, "Where's the other earring?" I says, "I'm bringing that tomorrow." Yeah, that's what I told her. Well, let me tell you what. She laughed. I thought she was going to pee in her pants. and the sexiest laugh. Like she knew me, like she knew me. She started laughing and like she was having the best time. It was so great. And that was pretty much the end of that. And then after that, we said our goodbyes. But it was a big thrill for me because I admired her very much. And she was more beautiful in person than she was on the screen. She was magnificent. I grew up with Vic Morrow. He became a star. He grew up in the same neighborhood. Yeah, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We were friends. I spent a lot of time with him. growing up in the same neighborhood, you know. We spent a lot of time the last summer before he made it. He was an actor. He never wanted to do anything but be an actor. So we go to this reading. We come in, it's on the second floor of this nondescript building on 6th Avenue. So we go in the building, we go upstairs, and we go in, and place is loaded with these young people. And I had to say that I was an actor, you know, to get in, because all the people there were actors and actresses, and we're reading for this part. It was a part in a play, an off-Broadway play that Moss Hart had written. It played on Broadway years before, and they were going to open it. It was going to be a remake of that. Climate of Eden was the name of it. And they gave us numbers like you get in the bakery, you know, and then when your number comes up, you go into this room and they give you a part to read, and then an audition, that's right. So I'd never done anything like that. Of course, he did it all the time, just like your brother does it all the time. But I never done it. I wouldn't have done it then if I'd known what it was. And I didn't know. I thought it was a different kind of reading. So I go in there. My number came up before Vic's came up. So I go into this little room. There were two guys in the room, as I remember. And when the guy, and I didn't see one of them, but one of them had the script, and he says, "Have you ever read this play before?" Morse Hart wrote the play. It had already been a successful play on Broadway years before. And I said, "No, I never read it. I don't know what the hell he was talking about." So he gives me a lead into the scene, and I took the script, and he tells me what the thing is, and I read it, and I did a reading with him on this little stage in this room for about 10 minutes. And he let me read for 10 minutes. And then after it was over, yeah, he says, that was good. The guy says, that was good. He says, but frankly, he says, we're looking for an Anglo-Saxon type of guy, which I was definitely not. You know, I had long hair. I don't remember if I had a beard or not, but I was just a mess. But he was very complimentary of my reading, I felt great about that. So I was in there for 10 or 15 minutes. So I walk out, and as I'm walking out, Vic is walking down. They must have called his name. He's walking in, you know. So we said hi, and he walks into the room to do his reading. He walks out, I'm not exaggerating, in less than 3 minutes. Less than 3 minutes, he's out. I was in there for over 10 minutes. So that was very embarrassing for him, you know. So I said, what happened? I said, what happened? What happened? He says, I got the part. No, he didn't get it. He bullshit. He didn't get it. He was embarrassed, so he said he got it. But he didn't get anything. He didn't get anything. One day we were in Far Rockaway. I had an apartment in the summer in Far Rockaway, a couple of summers. And he showed up, and we spent the day together. And then I said, you know, I know some girls that live around here that had an apartment. So we went over to the apartment, just the two of us. These 4 girls had rented one. They were from the Bronx. And we were sitting there with nobody there but some of the girls and Vic and I. And I went into the kitchen. And when I came out, he's sitting in the living room, and the drapes were on fire. He set fire to the fucking drapes. They were flaming in the living room. This girl. I says, what the hell what are you doing? He says, I always wanted a Viking funeral. That's what he said. He was crazy. And he was an actor. They're all crazy. Your brother's crazy. I have a story about Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
It was 1905. I was home from Newport, Rhode Island, where I was at midshipman school, and I was in Manhattan for the weekend. My wife was taking instruction to convert to Judaism at this big synagogue in Manhattan. The rabbi was giving her one of his instruction sessions, and in the middle of the thing, it was just the two of us and the rabbi. In the middle of it, he was called out. There was someone at the door, and it was Marilyn Monroe and the guy she was married to was a writer, Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller was her husband, and he came to the door with Marilyn Monroe. She wanted to convert. He was out there for about 10 minutes, and he came back and he told us that she had just come to the door, and that's why he was called out. He apologized to us. He couldn't do it with her because they didn't have enough time to give him, and he said no, and that's when it happened, 1956, because that's when I was at midshipman school. I liked all the movies. I was a movie goer, and I love movies. I'm sure you do too. And I went all the time, and it was air conditioned. So in the summertime, you almost had to go to the movies because of the heat. It was murder, You go to a movie, people would, and that was before TV. The TV didn't come in until the late 40s. Some people had TV in 45, 46, but not many, very few. They didn't come until the late 40s. And then it fell off dramatically. People wouldn't go to the movies. They'd get air conditioning and stay home. The people in the Bronx couldn't afford to go to the movies every night. They were working class people. And in the summertime, when it got hot, nobody had air conditioning. Hardly anyone had it. You could go out in the summertime at night before it got dark, and on the Grand Concourse, you couldn't walk on the sidewalk. It was so crowded. Everybody would leave their apartment and they would just walk outside because they couldn't stay in the apartments. They would way too hot. So I worked at a place called Crumbs, which was the largest soda fountain in the city. It was in the Bronx on the Grand Concourse. I was a soda jerk there. And the Grand Concourse was so crowded you couldn't walk on the sidewalk. It's just wall-to-wall people before people started getting air conditioning. On a hot night, they would walk on this locker and go into the department stores, come into Crumbs for a soda. We had people, it was the largest soda fountain in the city of New York. And we had people sitting at the counter and then one row behind them waiting for the seat and another row behind them. We had 3 deep, and there were probably 150 seats in that soda club. And there were 3 deep there in the summer on a hot night.